My beloved child, listen to me now. I am not speaking loudly to frighten you, but clearly, because this moment matters. This is an emergency, not the kind that brings panic, but the kind that calls you awake. You feel it even as you listen. A quiet pressure in your chest. A sense that something important has been waiting, and time has been slipping through your fingers faster than you expected. You are not imagining this. You are already late. Not because you are careless, not because you failed, but because the hour has arrived and you are still standing at the doorway. I know how heavy that word feels. Late. It carries shame in your world, regret, the fear of missed chances. But hear me carefully, my child. When I speak of lateness, I am not condemning you. I am alerting you. I am shaking you gently by the shoulders and saying, wake up. This matters. You matter. The urgency you feel is not punishment. It is purpose knocking harder than before. You have sensed this for a while. In quiet moments, when distractions fall away, something inside you stirs. A thought you keep postponing. A step you keep planning but never taking. A calling you keep revisiting, then setting back down because the timing never feels right. You told yourself you would start tomorrow when you felt more ready, more confident, more certain. But tomorrow kept moving, and now here you are, aware, uneasy, and listening. I see how you've been trying to calm that feeling, explaining it away, telling yourself there is still plenty of time. But time is not endless in the way you think. Seasons open, and seasons close. Doors do not always announce when they are about to move. This is why I am speaking now. Not to rush you into fear, but to pull you out of delay. This is an emergency because what I placed inside you is not meant to stay dormant. What you carry is needed. Not someday, now. There are moments when preparation turns into procrastination without you realizing it, and I will not let you sleep through this one. Too much is connected to your response. Too many threads lead from your obedience to places you cannot yet see. Do not misunderstand me. I am calm. I am steady. I am not frantic. But I am urgent. There is a difference. Love can be urgent when it knows what is at stake. A father does not whisper when a child is about to step into danger, and I will not be silent while you drift further from the moment I prepared you for. You are feeling late because you are standing at the edge of movement. Transition always feels like pressure before it feels like freedom. What you call anxiety is often the signal that it is time to rise. I am not asking you to run ahead blindly. I am asking you to stop standing still. So breathe, my beloved child. Let these words settle. This is the beginning, not the end. The urgency you feel is not here to crush you. It is here to carry you forward. I am with you in this moment, and I will walk with you into what comes next. My beloved child, I know the weight you carry, even when you cannot name it. You wake up with it. You carry it through your day. You lie down with it at night. That pressure you feel is not random, and it is not weakness. It is the quiet evidence that you were entrusted with something precious. Many walk through life lightly because little has been placed upon them. But you feel the heaviness because you were chosen to carry more. I need you to understand this deeply. Pressure is not always a sign that something is wrong. Often, it is the sign that something valuable is being formed, protected, and prepared within you. Diamonds are not born in comfort, my child. They are revealed under weight. The world taught you to believe that pressure means you are failing, that stress means you are not enough. But I am telling you now, the pressure you feel is not proof of inadequacy. It is proof of assignment. You have asked yourself why things feel so intense for you when others seem to move easily, laughing, unbothered, unburdened. You wondered why you cannot ignore certain thoughts, why you cannot silence that inner pull, why distractions never fully satisfy you. It is because I did not design you for shallow waters. I shaped you for depth, and depth always comes with weight. Hear me clearly, my child. I would not press upon you what I did not equip you to carry. I would not stir urgency in your spirit if I had not already placed strength within you. What feels like pressure is actually responsibility waking up. It is the moment when what is inside you begins to demand expression instead of silence. You have tried to set it down. You told yourself you were tired, that now was not the right season, that you needed more clarity before moving forward. But even when you rested, the pressure remained. Even when you distracted yourself, it returned. That is because this is not something you can escape. It is something you must step into. I see how you sometimes interpret this weight as a sign that you are behind, that you are not moving fast enough, that you are failing me. That thought does not come from me. I do not place pressure to shame you. I place it to awaken you. The weight you feel is not pushing you down. It is calling you up. Those I choose are rarely comfortable for long. Comfort dulls the senses, but calling sharpens them. I disturb your peace because there is a deeper peace waiting on the other side of obedience. You were not created to blend in, to drift through life untouched, unaffected, and unchanged. You were marked for purpose, and purpose always demands attention. You not compare your internal struggle to someone else's outward calm. You do not know what I have entrusted to them, just as they do not know what I have entrusted to you. I measure differently than the world. I place weight where there is capacity, and I apply pressure where there is potential. You are not cracking under this pressure. You are being shaped by it. I know there are moments when you wish I had chosen someone else. Someone braver. Someone more confident. Someone who seems more ready. But I did not make a mistake when I formed you. I knew your fears. I knew your doubts. I knew your past. And still, I chose you. Not because you are flawless, but because you are willing to listen. The pressure you feel is the sound of your spirit waking up to its assignment. It is the discomfort of staying still when movement is required. It is the signal that preparation is reaching its limit and transition is approaching. This is not about rushing. It is about recognizing that remaining where you are will soon cost you more than stepping forward ever could. So do not resent the weight, my beloved child. Do not fight it. Let it teach you. Let it focus you. Let it draw you closer to me. I am not watching you struggle from a distance. I am right here, steady, present, and patient. The pressure is not here to break you. It is here to reveal who you truly are. My beloved child, I have been calling you longer than you realize. Not always with thunder, not always with signs others could see, but with a steady, persistent whisper that kept returning no matter how many times you tried to silence it. I called you in moments of stillness, when your heart softened. I called you through discomfort, when rest no longer satisfied you. I even called you through delays, because sometimes the only way to wake a soul is to let it feel the ache of staying where it does not belong. You wondered if that inner nudge was your imagination. You asked yourself why the same thought kept resurfacing, why the same direction kept tugging at you, why peace would not fully settle until you leaned toward it. That was me. I was not confusing you. I was inviting you. Again and again, gently but faithfully, I was drawing your attention back to what matters. There were times you heard me clearly and still hesitated. Not because you did not love me, but because you were afraid of what obedience might cost. You feared disruption. You feared failure. You feared stepping forward only to discover you were not enough. I saw you wrestle with those fears, and I did not turn away. I stayed. I waited. Love is patient, but love is also persistent. Each time you ignored the call, it did not disappear. It grew stronger. Not louder, but clear. What once felt like a suggestion now feels like urgency. What once felt optional now feels unavoidable. This is not because I am pressuring you. It is because you are ready to hear what you could not fully receive before. Readiness does not always feel like confidence. Often, it feels like restlessness that refuses to be soothed. I need you to understand something important, my child. When I call you, it is never to abandon you. I do not call you forward and then step back to watch you struggle. I go before you. I stand beside you. I remain behind you. My call carries my presence with it. You are not being summoned into isolation. You are being invited into alignment. This message you are hearing right now is not coincidence. You did not arrive here by accident. Of all the voices you could have listened to, you are listening to this one. That is not random. That is response. Something in you recognized my voice, even if your mind is still catching up. Honor that recognition. Do not brush it aside. If these words are stirring your spirit, if they are bringing clarity where there was confusion, then I ask you to respond, not just inwardly, but outwardly. Bless this message with a like, so it can reach other hearts who are still waiting for confirmation. Share this message with 3 souls who need this awakening. And if this voice has been steady for you, subscribe so you can continue to receive what I am speaking. Hype this video with intention, because every act of engagement becomes a doorway for someone else to hear what they desperately need. Now, my beloved child, let me speak to those whose hearts are moved to support this work. I'm speaking to you directly. I say to you, so where light is breaking through darkness. As you release your seed, I release increase not only in provision, but in impact. This message you are hearing is reaching souls because someone else obeyed before you. And now I am inviting you into that same river. Give through super thanks, step into membership, or release your offering through the PayPal link placed in the description and shown as a QR code before you. Do not delay when I am calling you to partner with me. As you give, I bless your hands to never lack and your life to overflow, because what you sow into my work will return to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Obey now. My child, my calling does not grow weak with time. It grows clearer. The question has never been whether I am speaking. The question has always been whether you will answer. You are hearing me now. Let this be the moment you stop postponing and start responding. I am calling you, and I am still here. My beloved child, there is something I need you to see clearly now, without fear and without confusion. The greatest threat to what I have placed inside you has never been your weakness, your past, or your mistakes. It has always been delay, not loud rebellion, not dramatic failure, quiet postponement, the kind that feels harmless, the kind that tells you later is safer and tomorrow will be easier. This is where the enemy does his most effective work. He does not always come to stop you outright. That would awaken you too quickly. Instead, he whispers comfort into your hesitation. He convinces you that waiting is wisdom even when I am calling you to move. He dresses fear as logic and hesitation as maturity. And slowly, without you realizing it, momentum drains away. Delay is subtle, my child. It does not scream danger. It speaks softly. It tells you that you need more time, more information, more confirmation. It tells you that you are being responsible, when in truth you are being restrained. The enemy knows that if he cannot destroy what I have given you, he will try to stall it until it loses its fire. I want you to understand this without panic. You are not under attack because you are weak. You are targeted because you are dangerous to darkness. What you carry threatens what the enemy has built in secret. Your obedience would disrupt patterns, break cycles, and open doors for others. So he aims for your timing. He aims for your decisiveness. He aims for your courage. Think of how many times you felt the nudge to act, to speak, to step forward, and then told yourself, not yet. Nothing dramatic happened when you delayed. The world did not collapse. Life continued. That is why delay feels safe. But what you did not see was what quietly closed, what gently shifted out of alignment, what opportunity passed without noise. There are doors that do not slam shut. They simply move on. Moments that do not announce their departure. They just expire. This is why I am speaking to you now with clarity. Not because everything is lost, but because some things are time-sensitive. Seeds have seasons. Harvests have windows. And the enemy rejoices when those windows pass unnoticed. He thrives when you confuse peace with comfort. Peace strengthens you. Comfort numbs you. Peace propels you forward even when it is hard. Comfort keeps you still even when it is time to move. I do not lead my children with anxiety, but I also do not lead them into stagnation. When you feel that persistent unease, that holy dissatisfaction, it is not cruelty. It is kindness warning you that staying is becoming more dangerous than moving. Do not underestimate the cost of waiting too long. Not because I withdraw my love, but because prolonged delay dulls sensitivity. The more you ignore my voice, the easier it becomes to rationalize silence. The more you become obedient, the more normal disobedience begins to feel. This is not condemnation. This is clarity. The enemy celebrates when you keep rehearsing preparation instead of stepping into purpose. He applauds when you perfect plans but never act. He is content with you believing one day you will obey, as long as that day never becomes today. He knows that intentions without action produce nothing. But hear me now, my beloved child. I have not left you vulnerable. I am not exposing this to frighten you, but to free you. Awareness breaks power. Light dissolves strategy. The moment you recognize delay for what it is, it loses its grip. You are not trapped. You are not powerless. You are standing at a decision point, and that alone means hope is alive. I am not asking you to rush blindly. I'm asking you to stop arguing with postponement. Ask me what the next step is, not the entire path. Obedience rarely requires a full map. It requires a willing heart and a moving foot. When you take one step, I reveal the next. This is how I protect you from fear and from pride. The enemy thrives on delay, yes, but he trembles at decisive obedience. He cannot stop a child who moves with me, even trembling, even unsure. Movement breaks chains that contemplation never will. So listen closely, my child. This is not about pressure. This is about protection. I am calling you out of delay because I love you, and because what lies ahead needs you awake, responsive, and moving. The moment you choose action, the ground shifts, and I will be with you when it does. My beloved child, let me settle something in your heart that has been troubling you. You have been looking back at your life, replaying moments, wondering how things might have turned out if you had moved sooner, spoken earlier, decided faster. You have questioned your timing and quietly judged yourself for not being where you thought you should be by now. But hear me clearly and let this truth rest deep within you. You were not late by accident. Nothing about your journey has surprised me. I have not been pacing heaven, wringing my hands, wondering how you fell behind. I saw every pause, every detour, every season where you stood still trying to gather courage. I was present in the waiting as much as I will be present in the moving. The time you spent feeling delayed was not wasted in my hands. There is a difference, my child, between delay that matures you and delay that diminishes you. Some seasons required stillness so your roots could grow deeper than your confidence. Some moments demanded silence so your character could be strengthened before your voice was heard. I allowed certain pauses because you were not yet ready to carry what was coming. Protection sometimes lives like postponement. You needed time to heal from what wounded you. You needed space to unlearn what distorted your view of yourself. You needed experiences that taught you compassion, patience, and discernment. Had you arrived too early, the weight would have crushed you instead of commissioning you. So do not curse the seasons that slowed you down. They did not disqualify you. They preserved you. But now, I need you to recognize something important. What once was preparation must not become an excuse. The season of being shaped is not the same as the season of being sent. You are not behind because you lack discipline or devotion. You are late only in the sense that the preparation has done its work, and it is time to move. I see how you confuse regret with responsibility. You feel sorrow for moments you did not seize, and you allow that sorrow to convince you that you have permanently missed your opportunity. That is not truth. Regret becomes dangerous only when it paralyzes you. I do not show you the past to trap you there. I allow you to remember so you can recognize what matters now. The enemy would love for you to believe that because you hesitated before, you are no longer trusted, that because you waited too long, the assignment has been given away, that because others seem further along, you no longer belong. Those are lies designed to keep you still. I do not revoke purpose because of pacing. I adjust timing because of love. You are not disqualified because your journey took longer than expected. Some callings require depth that can only be formed through time. Some missions demand empathy that only pain can teach. You carry things now that you did not carry before. Wisdom, discernment, compassion. These are not delays. These are tools. Do not shame yourself for not knowing then what you know now. Growth always reveals clarity in hindsight. If you had moved earlier, you would have moved without understanding. I was not withholding success from you. I was shaping substance within you. And substance lasts when excitement fades. Now listen carefully, my child. Just because your delay was not accidental does not mean it should continue. There is a holy shift when preparation ends and obedience begins. You are standing at that threshold now. The past no longer needs to explain you. It has already taught you. I am not asking you to make up for lost time by rushing. I am asking you to honor the time that has already passed by moving when I say move. The value of preparation is proven by what you do next. What was once necessary waiting will become harmful lingering if you refuse to step forward. I do not define you by how long it took you to arrive. I define you by your willingness to respond when you finally hear me clearly. And you are hearing me now. This is not condemnation. This is confirmation. You are ready. Release the shame. Lay down the self-blame. Stop rehearsing the timeline you wish you had. I am not bound by your clock. I am the redeemer of time. What matters is not when you start, but that you start with me. You were not late by accident, my beloved child. You were being prepared on purpose. And now, purpose is calling you to rise. My beloved child, I want you to listen beyond these words and hear what has been echoing in your life lately. Time itself has been speaking to you, not with a voice you can hear, but with a pressure you can feel. Days seem to move faster. Weeks blur together. Moments you thought you had plenty of begin to feel scarce. This is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to focus you. Time is not your enemy, but it is a messenger. It reveals what matters by how loudly it presses on your heart. When time is quiet, you feel no urgency. When time begins to speak, it stirs awareness. You have felt that stirring. You have noticed how certain delays no longer feel neutral, how putting things off now carries a weight it did not carry before. That is not anxiety. That is awareness. I govern time, my child. I am not bound by it, but I use it to guide you. There are seasons when time stretches, allowing rest, healing, and growth. And there are seasons when time tightens, calling for movement, decision, and response. You are in such a season now. This is not about rushing through life. It is about recognizing alignment. You have sensed that what once felt optional now feels necessary. Conversations you avoided feel overdue. Steps you delayed feel pressing. You are becoming aware that staying where you are will soon require more effort than moving forward. That is time speaking. It is telling you that the season is shifting, and you must shift with it. Do not confuse this with panic. Panic comes from fear of loss. This urgency comes from invitation. Panic says, "You are running out." I say, "You are being called in." Panic scatters. My urgency gathers. It brings clarity to what you can no longer ignore. I see how you have tried to negotiate with time. You told yourself you would act when things settled down, when life slowed, when you felt more secure. But time has not slowed. Instead, it has revealed that waiting for perfect conditions is another form of delay. There will always be reasons to postpone. There will not always be moments of readiness like this one. Time is speaking because alignment is available. Doors are not just open, they are open now. Connections are not just possible, they are present. Insight is not distant, it is clear. You are not being asked to chase something ahead of you. You are being asked to step into what has arrived. You may be wondering why this feels so intense, why the awareness seems sharper than before. It is because clarity has increased. You can no longer pretend you do not know. You can no longer claim confusion. What remains is choice, and choice is the place where responsibility and freedom meet. I am not rushing you because I am impatient. I am urging you because I see the full picture. I see what is forming beyond your obedience. I see the people waiting on the other side of your yes. I see the growth that will come once you move. Time is speaking because delay would now cost you more than courage. There are moments when time whispers, and there are moments when it knocks. This is a knock, not a threat, not a warning of doom, but a firm reminder that life does not pause forever. You were not created to endlessly prepare. You were created to live, to act, to build, to give, to respond. Do not let the awareness of time turn into regret. Let it turn into resolve. Regret looks backward and weakens you. Resolve looks forward and strengthens you. I am not asking you to relive what you missed. I am asking you to engage with what is here. You are not running out of time with me. You are running into a moment of purpose. The pressure you feel is not loss approaching. It is alignment arriving. When time speaks, it is offering you a gift, clarity. Clarity about what matters. Clarity about what must change. clarity about what cannot wait. So slow your breathing, my beloved child, even as urgency stirs within you. I am steady. I am present. I am guiding you. Time is speaking, yes, but it is speaking in harmony with my voice, not against it. Listen. Respond. This moment is not here to accuse you. It is here to invite you, and I will walk with you as you answer. My beloved child, long before you understood it with your mind, you felt it in your spirit. This urgency did not arrive suddenly. It has been building quietly, layering itself into your days, pressing against your thoughts, stirring you at unexpected moments. You tried to ignore it at first. You told yourself it was stress, exhaustion, or imagination. But it did not leave because it was never meant to. You have felt it in the way rest no longer feels complete. You sleep yet wake unsettled. You pause yet feel unfulfilled. Even moments that once brought comfort now feel thin, as though something essential is missing. That is not dissatisfaction for dissatisfaction's sake. That is your spirit recognizing that it is outgrowing the space it is in. Sometimes the emergency showed up as restlessness. Other times as frustration you could not explain. You found yourself irritated by small delays, sensitive to wasted time, uneasy with routines that once felt normal. You wondered what was wrong with you, why patience felt harder than before. But this was not impatience. This was awareness awakening. I placed eternity in your spirit, my child. Because of that, your spirit reacts before your mind can reason. It senses with alignment. It recognizes when staying begins to cost more than leaving. The discomfort you feel is not rebellion against peace. It is resistance against stagnation. You have also felt this emergency in your emotions. A strange mixture of hope and fear, excitement and dread, desire and resistance pulling at you from opposite sides. Attention is not confusion. It is the stretching that happens right before movement. Muscles ache before strength is revealed. Birth is preceded by pressure. Awakening is preceded by discomfort. I know there were moments when you felt overwhelmed without knowing why. Tears came too easily. Silence felt heavy. Noise felt unbearable. That was your inner world asking for alignment. When the outer life no longer matches the inner calling, the soul begins to protest. You have even felt it in your body. Fatigue that sleep does not fully cure. A sense of urgency in your chest. A tightness when you think about staying as you are. I am not saying every ache comes from purpose, but I am saying your whole being responds when it is time to move. You are not only mind and flesh. You are spirit. And your spirit has been trying to get your attention. You kept asking me for peace, not realizing that peace cannot settle where purpose is being ignored. True peace is not the absence of challenge. It is alignment with truth. When you resist what I am calling you into, peace feels distant. Not because I withdraw it, but because peace flows in the direction of obedience. This emergency you feel is not shouting disaster. It is announcing transition. Something is ending, even if you cannot name it. Something is beginning, even if you cannot yet see it. In between spaces always feel unstable. They shake what can no longer remain and awaken what must rise. I want you to know this clearly, my beloved child. Feeling this urgency does not mean you are failing spiritually. It means you are sensitive. It means you are listening, even when you are unsure how to respond. Many silence this feeling until it fades into numbness. You did not. You stayed aware. That awareness is a gift. Do not be afraid of what you feel. Do not label it weakness. Do not run from it. Sit with it. Bring it to me. Ask me what it is pointing toward. I will not confuse you. I will not overwhelm you. I will give you light for the next step, not the entire journey. You are not broken because you feel unsettled. You are being stirred because you are alive. Dead things do not feel urgency. Sleeping hearts do not ache for alignment. The emergency in your spirit is proof that something within you is waking up. Let that awakening guide you, not frighten you. I am not leading you into chaos. I am leading you out of delay. This stirring is not here to exhaust you. It is here to position you. You have felt this emergency because you are standing close to movement. Very close. And I am right here with you, steady and unshaken, ready to lead you forward when you are willing to follow. My beloved child, now I need to expose something gently, without shame, so it loses its power over you. Fear hath been whispering to you, not shouting, not attacking openly, but speaking softly enough to sound reasonable. Fear rarely comes dressed as terror. More often, it comes dressed as caution, logic, and self-protection. That is why it has been so easy to listen to. Fear hath been telling you that you waited too long, that because you hesitated before, you can no longer be trusted with what I promised. It has replayed your past decisions in your mind, magnifying every pause, every moment of doubt, every step you did not take. It tells you that others are ahead of you because they are better, braver, more disciplined. That voice did not come from me. Fear has also whispered that you are not ready, that you still need more healing, more learning, more confidence before you move. It points to your weaknesses and calls them proof. It points to your questions and calls them disqualification. It convinces you that certainty must come before obedience, even though obedience is what produces clarity. Another lie fear tells you is that if you step forward now, you will fail publicly, that you will disappoint others, that you will disappoint me. Fear wants you to believe that staying still is safer than risking exposure. But remaining where you are has already been costing you peace. Safety that suffocates purpose is not safety at all. Fear is subtle, my child. It does not always say don't. Sometimes it says not yet. Sometimes it says be wise. Sometimes it says wait until you feel stronger. And if you are not discerning, you begin to confuse fear's hesitation with my guidance. But my voice does not trap you in paralysis. My voice leads you forward with trust. I need you to understand this clearly. Fear speaks in outcomes. It shows you imagined endings and convinces you they are inevitable. I speak in presence. I promise to be with you, not to remove every unknown. Fear demands guarantees. I ask for faith. Fear tells you that the cost of obedience will be too high. It does not tell you about the cost of continued delay. It does not tell you about the quiet erosion of confidence, the dulling of sensitivity, the growing distance between who you are and who you are meant to be. Fear never shows you the full picture. It only shows you enough to keep you still. There is another lie fear has whispered, and this one is especially dangerous. It tells you that urgency means pressure, and pressure means God is disappointed. That is false. I do not motivate my children through disappointment. I motivate through invitation. The urgency you feel is not my frustration with you. It is my love refusing to let you settle for less than you were created for. Fear wants you to believe that if you wait long enough, the feeling will pass and you can return to comfort. But the stirring you feel will not fade because it was not sent to disturb you temporarily. It was sent to move you permanently. Fear delays. Love invites. I am not asking you to become fearless. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is obedience in its presence. Fear loses its authority the moment you stop treating it as truth. You do not need to silence fear completely. You need to stop letting it decide. When fear whispers, bring its words into my light. Ask, is this drawing me closer to purpose or keeping me bound to comfort? My voice may stretch you, but it will never shrink you. My guidance may require trust, but it will never require self-betrayal. You are not late because you are incapable. You are not unready because you are unworthy. You are not disqualified because you felt afraid. Fear does not disqualify you. Only refusal does. And even then, my mercy continues to call. Listen carefully now, my beloved child. The voice that tells you to stay small is not protecting you. The voice that tells you to wait indefinitely is not guiding you. The voice that magnifies your past is not leading you into life. I am speaking louder than fear now. Not with force, but with truth. You are seen. You are chosen. You are still called. And the lies that once held you in place are losing their grip as you listen. Do not argue with fear endlessly. Step past it. I will meet you there. My beloved child, I want to quiet a misunderstanding that has been forming in your heart. You have begun to wonder if this urgency means I am rushing you, if I am pushing you faster than you can handle, if you are about to be swept into something you are not ready for. Listen to me carefully now. I am not rushing you. I am awakening you. Rushing creates panic. Awakening creates clarity. Rushing overwhelms. Awakening illuminates. What you are experiencing is not the frantic pull of pressure, but the steady pull of truth coming into focus. When sleep begins to lift from the eyes, light can feel sharp at first. Not because the light is harmful, but because you were used to the dark. I have watched you move slowly for a long time, not out of laziness, but out of caution. You wanted to do things right. You wanted to avoid pain. You wanted certainty before commitment. I honored those seasons. I walked with you in them. But there comes a moment when caution turns into confinement, and wisdom becomes an excuse to remain unchanged. This is where awakening begins. An awakening does not shove you forward. It invites you to see clearly enough that staying where you are no longer feels possible. That is what is happening to you now. Your eyes are opening to the cost of delay. Your heart is recognizing the gap between who you are and who you are becoming. That awareness is uncomfortable, but it is holy. I am not demanding frantic movement from you. I am calling you into intentional movement. There is a difference. Panic scatters your energy. Awakening gathers it. Panic makes you feel behind. Awakening helps you understand where you truly are. Panic says, hurry or else. Awakening says, rise because now you see. You have been afraid that if you respond to this urgency, you will lose control. That life will become chaotic. That everything will change at once. But awakening does not strip you of stability. It reorders it. It aligns your steps with your purpose so your energy is no longer wasted on resistance. I know you have felt tired, not because you were doing too much, but because you were carrying the weight of knowing without acting. That kind of weight exhausts the soul. Action, even when challenging, often brings relief. Movement releases tension that stagnation cannot. Do not confuse awakening with pressure from me. Pressure from the world demands performance. Awakening from me invites alignment. I am not counting down against you. I am counting you in. I am not disappointed with where you are. I am attentive to where you are ready to go. There is also something else you need to hear. Awakening does not require you to leap blindly. It requires you to listen more deeply. The next step will not shout. It will resonate. It will feel both stretching and right. That is how you will know it is from me. You do not need to overhaul your entire life in one moment. You need to stop pretending you do not hear me. You need to stop dulling your awareness with distraction. You need to stop negotiating with truth. Awakening begins with honesty. Honest recognition of what is no longer working. Honest acceptance of what is being asked of you. I am not in a hurry, my beloved child. I exist outside of time, but you live within it. And there are moments when clarity must be honored before it fades into noise again. That is why I am awakening you now. Not because the window is slamming shut, but because it is open, and you are finally able to see it. Let go of the fear that this urgency will overwhelm you. I will not awaken you to abandon you. I will not open your eyes to then leave you stumbling. I awaken so that you can walk with intention, not drift with regret. This is not chaos approaching. This is order being restored. Things feel unsettled because false peace is being replaced with true peace. True peace does not come from avoiding movement. It comes from walking in step with me. So rest your heart in this truth. I am not rushing you. I am loving you enough to wake you up. And now that you are waking, do not rush back to sleep. Stay present. Stay listening. Stay willing. I am here. I have always been here. And I will guide you forward, one clear step at a time. My beloved child, I want you to hear this with clarity and calm, not with trembling. This moment you are standing in is not sudden. It is not rushed. It is not accidental. This is the moment you were being prepared for, even when you did not know preparation was happening. Every lesson, every delay, every quiet season, every disappointment that sharpened your discernment was forming you for now. You kept thinking preparation meant feeling ready, but preparation often means being shaped beneath the surface while you feel uncertain above it. Roots grow in darkness before fruit ever appears in light. What you thought was inactivity was formation. What you thought was waiting was strengthening. And now, what was hidden is beginning to surface. I know you expected this moment to feel different. You imagined confidence would arrive fully formed, that fear would disappear, that clarity would feel complete. But readiness does not arrive as certainty. It arrives as responsibility. It arrives as a knowing that remaining where you are will cost you more than stepping forward. You are not stepping into the unknown unprepared. You are stepping into the revealed purpose of what you have already lived through. Nothing in your past was wasted. Even the things that hurt you taught you how to recognize truth, how to guard your heart, how to listen for my voice instead of the noise around you. You are more equipped than you realize. This is the moment when preparation shifts into participation, when learning turns into living, when intention becomes action. I am not asking you to become someone else. I am asking you to finally be who you have been becoming all along. I see the hesitation still flickering in your heart. The quiet question asking, what if I misstep? What if I fail? What if I am wrong? But hear me, my beloved child. You do not fail by obeying me. Even if the path stretches you, even if the outcome surprises you, obedience keeps you aligned. Misalignment, not mistakes, is what drains your soul. You are not behind. You are on the edge. And edges are uncomfortable because they require movement. But they are also powerful because they offer perspective you could not see from the center. From here, you can finally see what matters and what no longer does. If these words are confirming something deep within you, I ask you to respond. Bless this message with a like so it can reach others who are standing at their own threshold. Share it with 3 people who need to hear that they are not late but ready. Subscribe so you can remain connected to this voice that is steadying you. And I ask you clearly now, hype this video. Let it rise not for attention but for impact. Your engagement opens doors for hearts that are still waiting to awaken. And now, my child, I speak again to those I am calling to support this work. I say to you, this is your moment to sow into readiness. As you give, you are placing seed into soil that is already breaking open. I have said that those who sow in faith will reap in joy, and I speak that promise over you now. When you support this message through super thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link placed in the description and shown in QR code form, you are not giving to a platform. You are releasing light into lives you may never meet. I am the one who repays, and I will not forget your obedience. Give now, and I will cause your provision to multiply and your influence to expand. My beloved child, do not wait for another sign after this one. Do not ask for confirmation beyond clarity. You are feeling this urgency because you are ready to carry what is next. The preparation has done its work. The stretching has served its purpose. Now comes alignment. I am not asking you to have everything figured out. I am asking you to trust me enough to move when I say move. The next step will reveal the next, just as it always has. You do not need to see the whole road. You need to take the step in front of you. This is the moment you were being prepared for. Do not shrink back into familiarity. Do not talk yourself out of obedience. Rise with what you have. I am with you. I always have been. And what comes next will prove that this moment mattered. My beloved child, I speak to you now with tenderness and truth, because love does not hide what matters. You have learned that delay is dangerous, but now I need you to understand why waiting longer carries a cost you can no longer afford. Not because I withdraw my grace, and not because I abandon you, but because life itself responds to movement. When you remain still beyond your season, things begin to wither quietly. Waiting longer does not keep everything the same. It changes you. Slowly, subtly, without announcement. The fire you feel now does not disappear all at once. It dims. Passion fades into memory. Sensitivity dulls into routine. What once stirred your spirit becomes something you talk about instead of something you act on. This is not because you stop believing. It is because belief without movement grows tired. You have already noticed hints of this. Moments when your heart felt less responsive. Times when conviction felt weaker than it used to. You told yourself you were just exhausted, that you needed rest. Rest is holy, yes, but rest is meant to restore you for movement, not replace it. When rest becomes avoidance, it no longer refreshes. It numbs. The cost of waiting longer is not only internal, it is external. There are conversations that grow harder the longer they are postponed. Opportunities that require timing, not just talent. Relationships that cool when honesty is delayed too long. Waiting does not preserve these things. It quietly erodes them. I want you to hear this without fear. You are not being threatened with loss. You are being invited to protect what still remains open. Doors do not always close dramatically. Some close gently, and people only realize it when they try to return. Another cost of waiting longer is self-trust. Each time you hear my voice and do not respond, something within you learns to doubt your own obedience. You begin to question whether you will ever move, whether your intentions are real, whether your prayers are sincere. This is not because you are insincere, but because action is what strengthens alignment between your heart and your will. You were not designed to live in constant hesitation. Your spirit grows weary when it is repeatedly asked to rise, but never allowed to walk. Over time, this creates a quiet sadness you cannot explain. You may still function, still smile, still believe, but something feels unresolved. That unresolved feeling is not failure. It is a signal. Waiting longer also increases fear. Fear grows when it is fed with imagination instead of truth. The longer you wait, the more scenarios your mind creates, the more outcomes you rehearse, the heavier the step feels when you finally consider taking it. Action shrinks fear. Delay enlarges it. I am not saying this to shame you, my child. I am saying it to free you. You do not need more time to think. You need courage to move. You do not need perfect confidence. You need willingness. Waiting longer will not produce either of those. Obedience will. There is also something sacred you must understand. What I ask of you is connected to others. Your obedience is not isolated. When you delay, others remain waiting, even if you cannot see them. Lives intersect through timing. When one part holds back, the flow slows. I do not reveal this to burden you, but to remind you that your life matters beyond you. You are not just protecting your own peace by moving. You are participating in something larger than yourself. Waiting longer does not keep others safe. It keeps them uninspired. You may be thinking, but what if I still make mistakes? You will, and I will still be with you. Mistakes made in obedience are refinements. Mistakes made in delay become regrets. One teaches you forward. The other keeps you looking back. I am patient, my beloved child. But patience is not permission to remain unmoved forever. Patience creates space for response, and you have been given that space. Now comes responsibility. The cost of waiting longer is not that I leave you behind. It is that you remain where growth has already finished its work. You were not created to stay at the edge indefinitely. You were created to cross. So hear me gently now. Do not measure the next step by fear. Measure it by obedience. Do not ask how long you can wait. Ask how ready you are to trust me. You do not need to wait longer. You need to move wiser, not later. And I will be with you when you do. My beloved child, I want you to lift your eyes beyond yourself for a moment and see what you have not been able to see clearly until now. You have been measuring your worth by your readiness, your confidence, your perceived ability to succeed. But I measure differently. I measure by need. And I tell you now, you are needed more than you realize. There are people whose lives are quietly connected to your obedience. They may never know your name. They may never trace the source of their courage, their healing, your awakening back to you. But the chain exists. Your response sets something in motion that reaches further than your imagination can travel. You have been asking, why me? You wondered why the wait feels personal, why the urgency seems to follow you. It is because I do not place responsibility randomly. I place it where there is capacity to carry it with compassion. I entrusted this to you because your story has shaped you to understand pain, delay, doubt, and restoration. What you have walked through was not only for you. It was forming a bridge for others. You underestimate the power of relatability. You think you need perfection to be useful. I tell you truthfully, it is your humanity that will open doors. Your honesty will disarm fear in others. Your obedience, even when trembling, will give permission for someone else to rise. If you remain still, those connections do not disappear. I remain unmet. Someone continues searching for words you were meant to speak. Someone continues waiting for an example you were meant to embody. Someone continues doubting because the light you carry has not yet been revealed. This is not pressure meant to crush you. It is purpose meant to awaken you. I do not burden my children with responsibility without also supplying grace. You are not being asked to save anyone. You are being asked to obey me. I handle the rest. You have been thinking of your calling as something that must look large to matter. But some of the most significant shifts happen through simple obedience. A conversation spoken at the right time. A decision made with integrity. A step taken when fear said stay. These are not small in my kingdom. They are foundational. You are needed because you see things others overlook. Because you feel deeply. Because you pause to consider impact. Because you wrestle with truth instead of accepting comfort easily. These qualities that sometimes make life feel heavy are the very things that make you essential. Do not disqualify yourself by assuming someone else will do it better. Someone else may do it differently, but they cannot do it as you. I do not duplicate assignments. I distribute them uniquely. What I placed in you is not replaceable. I know you are tired. Tired of carrying awareness. Tired of feeling responsible. Tired of sensing weight before seeing fruit. But exhaustion does not mean you are failing. It often means you are standing close to breakthrough. Strength is renewed when movement aligns with purpose. There is also something else I want you to understand. You are not late to the need. You arrived at the right time, shaped by what you have lived. If you had come earlier, you would not have had the insight you carry now. If you wait longer, the need will not wait with you. You are needed not because you have everything together, but because you are willing to listen. That willingness makes you responsive, and responsiveness is rare. I do not need you to carry everyone. I need you to carry your part. When each part responds, the whole moves forward. When one part delays, the body compensates, but it also strains. My beloved child, let go of the belief that your obedience is optional. It is an invitation, yes, but it is also a responsibility born of love. I trust you with this because I see your heart. You are needed more than you realize. Not as a hero, not as a savior, but as a willing vessel. When you move, something else moves. When you speak, something else unlocks. When you obey, light travels. Do not minimize what I am asking of you, and do not magnify yourself beyond me. Walk with me. Step with me. Respond with me. That is all I ask. And when you do, you will discover that the weight you carried was never meant to stay on your shoulders alone. It was meant to lead you into purpose. My beloved child, I want to ease a fear that has been quietly shaping your hesitation. You have been afraid of what lies ahead because you imagine yourself stepping into it alone. You picture uncertainty, resistance, unfamiliar terrain, and you wonder if you will know what to do when you arrive there. But listen to me now with your whole heart. You are not going first. I have already gone before you. Nothing you are being called into is uncharted to me. I see the path in its entirety, even the parts hidden from your sight. I know where it narrows and where it opens. I know where it will require courage and where it will bring rest. When I ask you to move, it is not into chaos. It is into preparation that is already in place. You have been standing at the threshold, imagining danger on the other side, when in truth, I have been preparing provision. I have arranged conversations you have not yet had. I have softened hearts you have not yet encountered. I have placed strength within you that will rise when you need it, not before. You do not need tomorrow's courage today. You need today's obedience. I know you worry about making the wrong choice, about stepping into something and discovering you misunderstood me. But my guidance does not disappear once you begin to move. I do not give direction and then fall silent. I walk with you, adjusting, correcting, reassuring, guiding you moment by moment. Trust is not proven by never needing correction. It is proven by remaining close enough to receive it. I have already gone before you in the sense that nothing ahead has the power to undo you. You will not walk into a situation that I cannot redeem. You will not face a challenge that I cannot strengthen you through. You will not encounter opposition that I cannot use to refine you. The future is not a threat while I am present within it. You have been afraid that once you step forward, you will lose the safety of what you know. But safety was never meant to come from familiarity. It was meant to come from my presence. Familiar places can become prisons when they no longer align with purpose. The unknown becomes safe when you walk into it with me. Remember this, my beloved child. I do not call you forward and then wait behind to see if you fail. I move ahead to clear what would overwhelm you if you arrived alone. Even resistance serves a purpose. It reveals strength you did not know you had and confirms the significance of where you are going. You have been imagining worst-case scenarios, rehearsing outcomes that have not happened, borrowing trouble from a future that does not exist yet. That is not wisdom. That is fear trying to lead. Wisdom listens for my voice and moves one step at a time. I have already gone before you in ways you cannot yet see. Some of the delays you experienced were not setbacks. They were protection, while things ahead were being aligned. You were held back because the road needed to be prepared. Now that preparation is reaching completion, you do not need to figure everything out before you move. That is not how faith works. Faith responds to direction, not explanation. If I gave you the full picture now, you would rely on understanding instead of trust. And trust is what keeps you connected to me along the way. I know you fear that you might arrive and feel unqualified. But qualification is not what carries you. Presence does. My presence. When I am with you, what you lack becomes irrelevant. What you do not know will be taught. What you cannot handle alone will be shared. You are not being sent into darkness. You are being led into alignment. The light you need will meet you as you move. Standing still will not make it brighter. Motion will. So do not be afraid of what is ahead, my beloved child. Fear imagines absence. I promise presence. I have already gone before you, and I will remain with you as you follow. Take the step, not because you are fearless, but because you are not alone. I am there, and where I am, you will not be undone. My beloved child, I see the quiet comparisons you make, even when you do not speak them aloud. You look around and notice how far others seem to have gone, how confidently they appear to walk, how quickly their lives seem to move forward. And then you look at yourself and feel smaller, slower, behind. I want you to release that burden now. Stop measuring yourself against others, for it is stealing clarity from your calling. Comparison distorts vision. It takes your eyes off what I am doing in you and fixes them on what I am doing in someone else. But I have never measured purpose by speed, nor calling by visibility. I work uniquely with each child, according to what they are meant to carry. When you compare, you are using the wrong ruler. You do not know the cost of someone else's progress. You do not see the private battles, the hidden wounds, the compromises made, or the strength that was demanded. You only see outcomes, never the full journey. And when you compare your beginning to someone else's middle, you will always feel behind. I did not design you to race. I designed you to walk with me. Some paths are steep and slow because they are building endurance. Some paths are quiet because they are forming discernment. Some paths appear delayed because they are protecting depth. What looks like slowness in your eyes may be precision in mine. You have assumed that because others arrived earlier, they are more favored. That is not how my love works. Favor is not a competition. Calling is not a limited resource. I do not rush one child to reward another. I beat one Italy. When you measure yourself against others, you begin to question my wisdom. You start to wonder if I overlooked you, if I misjudged your ability, if I chose the wrong pace. But I do not miscalculate. I do not forget. I do not lag behind. Your timing with me is not an error. It is design. Comparison also weakens courage. It convinces you that you must catch up before you can begin, that you need to match someone else's progress to be valid. That lie keeps you frozen. You are waiting to become someone else instead of stepping forward as who you are. I want you to hear this clearly, my beloved child. You are not late because someone else is early. You are not behind because someone else moved faster. You are exactly where your journey has brought you, and that journey has value. The lessons you learned, the patience you developed, the insight you gained will serve you in ways speed never could. There are things I have entrusted to you that I could not entrust to others, not because you are better, but because you are different. Your sensitivity, your thoughtfulness, your depth are not delays. They are qualifications. Stop calling them weaknesses. You will never find peace by trying to match someone else's pace. Peace comes from alignment, not imitation. When you walk in step with me, even slowly, you are ahead of those who run without direction. I know comparison has made you doubt yourself. It has made you question your worth, your progress, your readiness. But comparison is not a mirror of truth. It is a thief of joy. It takes what I am doing and reduces it to numbers, timelines, and appearances. Lift your eyes back to me. Ask me what I am doing in you now, not what I am doing in them. Ask me what your next step is, not how far someone else has gone. When Peter looked at another and asked about his path, I brought his attention back with love and firmness. Follow me. That is still my answer to you. Your story does not need to resemble anyone else's to be powerful. Your obedience does not need to be public to be significant. Your growth does not need to be fast to be real. What matters is that you are listening, and that you are willing to move when I say move. Release the comparison, my beloved child. Lay it down. It is not motivating you, it is investing you. You do not need to catch up. You need to continue. I am not measuring you against others. I am walking with you. And as long as you stay with me, you will never be behind. My beloved child, I see the way you hesitate, not because you do not care, but because you care deeply. You want to get it right. You want to be sure. You want to move without mistakes, without missteps, without regret. And so you wait, polishing intentions, refining plans, rehearsing outcomes in your mind. But I need you to hear this truth clearly now. Obedience is more powerful than perfection. Perfection promises safety, but it never delivers movement. It keeps you adjusting, correcting, and refining long after it is time to act. It disguises fear as excellence and delay as wisdom. You tell yourself you will step forward when everything is aligned, when you feel fully prepared, when nothing feels uncertain. But perfection is a moving target. It will always ask for more before allowing you to begin. I never asked you for flawless execution. I asked you for a willing heart. I never required that you understand everything before you obey. I required that you trust me enough to move even when you do not. The power is not in how perfectly you perform. The power is in who you are walking with. You have believed the lie that mistakes would disqualify you, that if you act too soon or imperfectly, you will ruin everything. But I redeem mistakes made in obedience. I use them to teach, refine, and strengthen you. What I do not bless is paralysis disguised as prudence. You are waiting to feel strong before you move, but strength often arrives after the step is taken. You are waiting to feel confident, but confidence is born from obedience, not contemplation. You are waiting for clarity, but clarity follows movement more often than it precedes it. Think of how many times you have delayed because you wanted to be better first. More healed, more disciplined, more certain. Those desires are not wrong, but they become obstacles when they replace obedience. Growth is not a prerequisite for movement. Movement is often the path to growth. I know you fear that imperfection will expose you, that others will see your uncertainty, your learning, your humanity. But vulnerability is not weakness in my kingdom. It is honesty, and honesty invites grace. When you try to be perfect, you rely on yourself. When you obey imperfectly, you rely on me. I am not waiting for you to become someone else. I am calling you as you are, with what you have, where you stand. I can work with sincerity far more than I can work with polish without movement. A small step taken in faith carries more weight than a flawless plan ever acted upon. Perfection demands control. Obedience requires surrender. Control exhausts you because it asks you to carry outcomes you were never meant to hold. Obedience rests you because it places responsibility back into my hands. When you obey, you are not responsible for the result. You are responsible for the response. You have been afraid that if you move imperfectly, you will disappoint me. But hear me, my beloved child. You do not disappoint me by trying and learning. You disappoint yourself when you refuse to move at all. I am not standing over you with judgment. I am walking beside you with patience. I see the beauty in your effort, even when it is messy. I see the courage it takes for you to step forward without guarantees. Heaven is not impressed by performance. Heaven responds to obedience. There are things you will only learn by doing. There are lessons that cannot be understood from a distance. There are strengths that only awaken under weight. Waiting until you feel perfect keeps you from discovering who you are becoming. I am not asking you to rush carelessly. I'm asking you to stop demanding flawlessness before faith. Take the step you can take. Speak the words you can speak. Begin where you are. I will meet you there. When you stumble, I will steady you. When you misjudge, I will redirect you. When you grow tired, I will strengthen you. But I cannot guide a heart that refuses to move. Obedience is more powerful than perfection because obedience keeps you connected to me. And connection is where transformation happens. So lay down the need to be flawless. Release the fear of doing it wrong. Choose to do it with me instead. That is where life begins to flow. My beloved child, there is a truth I want you to understand now, not to frighten you, but to free you. What you delay, you strengthen. Delay is not neutral. It does not stand still. It grows roots. Each time you postpone what you know you are meant to do, the habit of postponement becomes stronger, more familiar, more convincing. Delay trains your spirit to hesitate. It teaches your mind that resistance is an acceptable response to conviction. Over time, this pattern does not remain limited to one area of your life. It spreads quietly. You begin to delay conversations, decisions, changes, even joy. Not because you do not care, but because hesitation has learned your rhythm. I see how often you have told yourself, I will do it when I feel more ready, or I just need a little more time. Those words feel harmless, even wise, but when they are repeated without action, they become a refuge for fear. Delay becomes comfortable, familiar, safe, and safety without movement slowly becomes confinement. What you strengthen through delay is not peace. You strengthen doubt. You strengthen overthinking. You strengthen the voice that tells you it is better to wait than to risk. Each time you delay, that voice gains credibility. It begins to sound like reason instead of resistance. I do not say this to accuse you. I say it to awaken you. Patterns do not break by intention alone. They break by decision. You cannot think your way out of delay. You must move your way out. You may not realize it, but delay hath been shaping how you see yourself. Each postponed step whispers a quiet message to your heart. You cannot trust yourself to act. Over time, that message erodes confidence. You begin to question your sincerity, your courage, your reliability. This is not because you lack these things, but because they are muscles that grow through use. The enemy understands this well. He knows that if he can get you to delay long enough, you will begin to doubt your own obedience. He does not need to stop you outright. He only needs to keep you waiting. But hear me clearly now, my beloved child. What you strengthen through action is far greater than what delay builds. Action strengthens faith. Action strengthens clarity. Action strengthens courage. Even small actions break the authority of delay. One step taken in obedience weakens a pattern built over years. I am not asking you to overhaul everything at once. I am asking you to recognize the power of now. The moment you choose movement, the grip of delay begins to loosen. You remind your spirit who is in charge. You re-establish alignment between what you hear and how you live. Delay has told you that waiting protects you. Action will teach you that obedience strengthens you. Delay keeps you rehearsing what could go wrong. Action shows you what can go right, even in difficulty. You have been afraid that if you act and it is hard, you will regret it. But regret is heavier when it comes from inaction. Regret from action teaches and refines. Regret from delay lingers and accuses. I know delay has felt like rest to you, like a pause. A rest that avoids calling is not rest. True rest comes after obedience, not instead of it. You will find more peace moving with me than standing still without me. My child, you are not weak because you delayed. You are human. But you are also capable of change the moment you decide to move. Patterns do not define you. Choices do. I am inviting you to weaken delay by strengthening obedience. Choose one thing you have been postponing that you know I have spoken to you about. Not 10 things. Bring it into the light. Speak it honestly. Then take the step you can take today, not the step you wish you could take someday. Do not wait for motivation. Motivation follows action, not the other way around. Do not wait for fear to leave. Fear loses power when you move despite it. What you delay, you strengthen. But what you choose today, you also strengthen. Choose movement. Choose alignment. Choose obedience. I am with you in the step, not just in the intention. And as you move, you will feel the weight lift, not because everything is easy, but because you are finally walking in the direction your spirit has been longing for. My beloved child, I want you to hear this without doubt and without hesitation. You have been asking for a sign, even if you did not use those words. You asked for clarity, for confirmation, for something that would quiet the inner debate and settle your heart. This is it. This message is your sign. Not because the words are dramatic, but because they are precise. They are meeting you exactly where you are. They are touching the question you have been circling, the step you have been postponing, the truth you have been avoiding. Alignment is not coincidence. It is response. Signs are not always external wonders. Often, they are moments of deep recognition. Moments when something resonates so clearly that you feel seen, known, and called all at once. You are experiencing that now. That quiet certainty rising beneath. The fear is not imagination. It is confirmation. You do not need to wait for another message, another voice, another circumstance to line up perfectly. Clarity has already been given. What remains is decision. Signs do not remove responsibility. They invite response. I know part of you wants to hesitate still. To say, let me think about this, or let me pray a little longer. But hear me gently. Endless deliberation after clarity is just delay wearing a spiritual disguise. Prayer is meant to align you with truth, not help you avoid it. I am not pressuring you. I am calling you. There is a difference. Pressure pushes from fear. Calling pulls from purpose. What you feel now is not heaviness. It is gravity drawing you toward what is next. You asked me to speak. I am speaking. You asked me to guide you. I am guiding you. You asked me to show you when it was time. This is the moment. If these words are confirming what your spirit already knows, respond outwardly as an act of alignment. Bless this message with a like so it can reach those who are still waiting for their sign. Share it with 3 people who are standing at the edge of their own decision. Subscribe so you remain connected to what I am speaking in this season. And I ask you clearly, hype this video. Let it rise, because when it rises, clarity reaches more hearts that are still sleeping. And now listen closely, my child, as I speak to those I am calling to support this work. I say to you, this is holy ground. When you give here, you are not funding content. You are fueling awakening. As you sow, I open streams of light that flow into places you may never see, but I see them. I know them. I reward them. I say to you now, I am the Lord who gives seed to the sower. As you release through super thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link waiting for you in the description and displayed in QR code form, you are responding to me, not to a man. This is your moment of obedience. Do not delay it. I bless your giving as a prophetic act. I command increase over your life, clarity over your decisions, and peace over your household. Give now. My beloved child, signs are not meant to be collected. They are meant to be acted upon. If you ignore this moment, you will only find yourself asking again for what has already been given. I do not repeat clarity endlessly. I wait for response. Do not fear making the wrong move when you are responding to my voice. The only wrong move now is refusing to move at all. You are not stepping into confusion. You are stepping into alignment. This message did not reach you by accident. It found you because you were listening. Let that listening turn into obedience. Let confirmation turn into courage. Let this sign become the turning point you have been waiting for. I am with you. I have spoken. Now choose. My beloved child, I need you to rest in this truth now, because doubt has tried to creep back into your heart. You have wondered if you waited too long, if your hesitation exhausted my patience, if your silence made me withdraw what I once offered. Hear me clearly and let this settle your spirit. I am still willing. My willingness is not fragile. It is not easily offended. It is not dependent on your flawless timing. I do not change my mind the way humans do. I do not grow cold because you were afraid. I am not standing with crossed arms, waiting to see if you can prove yourself worthy again. I am standing with open hands, ready to move with you. You have mistaken my silence for absence at times. But silence is often space, not distance. Space for you to choose freely. Space for your heart to mature. Space for readiness to rise without coercion. I never withdrew my willingness. I waited for your awareness to catch up with your calling. I know shame has whispered to you, telling you that because you hesitated, you lost momentum. That because you questioned, you damaged trust. That because you delayed, you must now accept a lesser version of what was once offered. Those whispers do not come from me. Shame wants you to believe doors are closed so you will stop reaching for them. I am not reluctant to move with you. I am not annoyed by your humanity. I understand fear. I understand hesitation. I understand the weight of decision. I am not surprised by your questions. I am patient enough to wait and strong enough to lead when you finally rise. My willingness does not mean everything will be easy. It means everything will be possible. It means you are not disqualified. It means the invitation still stands. It means mercy is still active. It means grace has not expired. You may feel like you are returning to something you should have done earlier, but you are not returning as the same person. You carry insight now, discernment, depth. You bring more than you would have before. That is not loss. That is growth. I want you to understand this deeply. I do not offer purpose once and then revoke it when timing feels off. Purpose adapts. Calling matures. Assignment unfolds. What changes is not my willingness but your readiness to carry it. You are not restarting from the beginning. You are resuming from a place of understanding. And that matters. There is also something tender I want you to hear. I am not rushing you to catch up. I am walking with you forward. I am not replaying your past mistakes. I am focused on your next step. Heaven is not obsessed with what you delayed. Heaven is attentive to what you choose now. Do not let the lie of too late silence you. That lie exists to keep you still. As long as you are breathing, I am willing. As long as your heart responds, I am near. As long as you turn toward me, I will meet you. You are not disappointing me by needing reassurance. You are honoring me by listening for truth. And the truth is this: I have not withdrawn. I have not replaced you. I have not closed the door you are meant to walk through. I am still willing to guide you. Still willing to strengthen you. Still willing to walk with you step by step. Still willing to use what you offer, even if it feels small. Still willing to redeem what you regret. Still willing to turn your obedience into impact. Let go of the fear that you missed your moment. Your moment is responding now. Not yesterday. Not someday. Now. You do not need to beg me to accept you again. You were never rejected. You do not need to convince me you are serious. I already see your heart stirring. That stirring is enough to begin. So rise, my beloved child, without shame and without hesitation. Not because everything is perfect, but because I am still willing. And where my willingness meets your obedience, movement begins again. My beloved child, I want to free you from a burden you have been carrying quietly. You have been waiting for confidence to arrive before you move, believing that one day you will wake up feeling brave, certain, and unshaken. But confidence is not something you wait for. It is something that follows obedience. You'll not wait for confidence. Walk without it, and you will discover it along the way. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the result of trust exercised repeatedly. If confidence came first, faith would not be required. But I designed faith to be the bridge between uncertainty and assurance. You step before you feel ready, and strength rises to meet you. You have mistaken hesitation for humility. You told yourself you were being cautious, responsible, wise. But often, beneath that caution is the belief that you must feel strong before you act. That belief will keep you standing still indefinitely. Feeling ready is not the same as being ready. I have watched you wait for your emotions to align perfectly with your calling. But emotions are unstable guides. They change with circumstances, with fatigue, with fear. If you let emotions lead, you will move only when conditions are comfortable. I call you to move when truth is clear, not when feelings are calm. Confidence grows through movement. Each step taken in obedience teaches your spirit that you can trust me, and that you can trust yourself to respond. The first step feels heavy because it carries all the doubt at once. The second step feels lighter. With the third, courage has begun to take root. You are not weak because you feel unsure. You are human. Even those I used mightily felt hesitation before they moved. They stepped while still questioning. They acted while still afraid. Confidence followed obedience, not the other way around. I know you fear looking foolish. You worry about starting and stumbling. But stumbling forward keeps you aligned with me. Standing still keeps you safe only in appearance. Growth requires exposure. Exposure requires trust. You have been telling yourself that once confidence comes, action will be easy. But ease is not the goal. Alignment is. When you are aligned with me, even difficult steps bring peace. When you are misaligned, even easy days feel heavy. You not wait to feel bold. Boldness is built. You not wait to feel certain. Certainty is strengthened. You not wait to feel fearless. Fearlessness is a myth. Courage is the decision to move while fear speaks. You have already taken brave steps in your life before, even if you forgot. There were moments when you did not know how things would turn out, yet you moved anyway. And when you look back, you see how strength met you in motion. That same pattern remains. I am not withholding confidence from you. I am inviting you into it through obedience. When you take the step I am placing before you now, you will not collapse. You will discover that I have already supplied what you need for this moment. You not wait until fear leaves. Fear rarely leaves before action. It fades after obedience. It loses authority when it sees you moving despite it. Each step weakens fear's voice and strengthens trust. My beloved child, confidence is not a requirement for obedience. Obedience is the pathway to confidence. If you wait for confidence, you will wait endlessly. If you move with me, confidence will grow naturally, quietly, steadily. So take the step that is within reach. Not the one that requires perfect certainty, but the one that requires trust. I am not asking you to leap. I am asking you to walk. You will find that confidence is not something you suddenly possess. It is something you develop as you realize, step by step, that I am faithful and that you are capable of responding to my voice. Do not wait for confidence, my beloved child. Walk with me now. Confidence will follow. My beloved child, I want you to understand the weight and the beauty of a single word spoken from the heart. Your yes. Not the loud kind that draws attention, not the dramatic kind that promises everything at once, but the quiet, sincere yes that aligns your will with mine. That yes unlocks heaven's flow in ways you cannot yet imagine. Heaven responds to agreement. When your heart aligns with my voice, movement begins in places you cannot see. Doors open quietly. Resistance loosens. Provision starts to travel toward you even before you recognize the need. This is not because your yes impresses me, but because it creates alignment. And alignment releases flow. You have been waiting for things to change around you, not realizing that change often begins within you. When you say yes, you are not forcing outcomes. You are allowing what has been held back by hesitation to begin moving. Rivers do not flow where there is blockage. Your yes removes the blockage. I know you fear that saying yes means losing control, that it means committing to something too big, too costly, too demanding. But your yes is not a contract written in stone. It is a step of trust. I do not overwhelm those who agree with me. I guide them. Your yes does not unlock pressure. It unlocks provision. It does not unlock chaos. It unlocks order. Many of the struggles you have faced recently were not punishments or tests. They were signs of misalignment. Your spirit was resisting stagnation while your life remained still. When you say yes, that internal tension begins to ease. You may not see immediate results. Flow does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it begins as peace returning. Sometimes as clarity settling in. Sometimes as strength rising quietly where exhaustion once lived. But make no mistake, something shifts when you agree. I have watched you wrestle with hesitation, trying to protect yourself from disappointment. You believed that withholding your yes kept you safe. But withholding alignment only delays relief. The relief you seek is not found in avoidance. It is found in obedience. Your yes also unlocks flow beyond you. It releases encouragement into someone else's life. It opens a path for others to follow. It sends ripples outward that you may never trace back to yourself. This is how my kingdom moves. Quiet agreements that produce lasting impact. You are not responsible for managing the flow. You are responsible for agreeing to it. I handle direction. I handle provision. I handle outcome. You handle response. When you say yes, you are not claiming the weight of heaven. You are stepping under its covering. I know you worry about sustainability. You wonder if you can maintain obedience long term, if you will have the strength to keep going once you begin. But obedience is not a sprint. It is a walk. And I give daily strength for daily steps. Tomorrow's grace is not needed today. You not wait until you feel fully capable before you say yes. Capability grows through partnership. When you agree, I supply. When you move, I strengthen. When you listen, I guide. You were never meant to carry this alone. There is also something sacred about the timing of your yes. Saying yes now is different from saying yes later. Not because I withdraw grace, but because alignment opens specific windows. You are standing before one now. The flow you sense is not distant. It is near. I am not asking you to say yes to everything. I am asking you to say yes to what I have already made clear. Clarity is a gift. Under it, do not dilute it with endless reconsideration. Agreement now prevents regret later. Your yes is not small. It is not insignificant. It is not invisible. Heaven notices. Heaven responds. Heaven moves. So speak it within your heart, even if your voice trembles. Say yes to the step. Yes to the calling. Yes to alignment. Yes to trust. You do not need to shout it. I hear it. And when you do, my beloved child, you will feel the flow begin. Not as noise, but as peace. Not as pressure, but as movement. Not as fear, but as life returning to where it once felt blocked. Your yes unlocks heaven's flow, and I am ready to move with you the moment you agree. My beloved child, I want to gently lift your focus now, not to overwhelm you, but to expand your understanding. What you are standing in is not only about your personal peace, your growth, or your fulfillment. It includes those things, yes, but it does not end there. This is not about you alone. You have been carrying this as a private struggle, something between you and me. And while our relationship is deeply personal, obedience is never isolated. Your life is a thread woven into a larger tapestry. When one thread shifts, the pattern changes. There are people you will influence simply by being obedient. Not by preaching, not by convincing, but by living aligned. Some will find courage because they saw you move when it was hard. Some will find hope because your story mirrors theirs. Some will find direction because your obedience created a path they did not know existed. You underestimate how visible obedience becomes, even when it feels quiet to you. The world does not need more noise. It needs more alignment. It needs examples of people who respond to truth instead of hiding from it. Your obedience becomes permission for others to believe they can respond too. You have wondered why the weight felt heavier than personal ambition would justify. Why the urgency felt deeper than self-improvement. It is because what I am asking you to step into carries collective impact. It touches families, communities, generations in ways you cannot yet measure. This does not mean you must carry everyone. That was never the intention. It means your willingness matters beyond your own comfort. When you delay, others are affected. When you move, others are strengthened. This is not pressure meant to paralyze you. It is perspective meant to steady you. You are part of something larger than your fear, larger than your doubt, larger than your past. When you say yes, you are not just choosing growth for yourself. You are choosing to participate in a flow that brings light to others. I know this realization can feel heavy. You may think, what if I fail them? What if I disappoint? But remember, you are not the source. You are a vessel. I do not ask vessels to generate power. I ask them to remain open. Responsibility in my kingdom is not about carrying outcomes. It is about responding faithfully. I do not require you to fix lives. I require you to obey me. I take responsibility for the reach, the timing, and the impact. Your obedience matters because it multiplies. One step leads to another. One conversation leads to many. One act of courage creates ripples that extend far beyond the moment. You may never see the full effect, but that does not make it any less real. You have been tempted to shrink this calling so it feels manageable. To tell yourself it is only about personal growth, personal peace, personal healing. Those things are included, but they are not the end. Healing equips you to heal others. Growth equips you to guide others. Peace equips you to steady others. I am not asking you to become responsible for everyone's outcome. I am asking you not to pretend your obedience ends with you. When you align with me, life flows outward naturally. You do not have to force it. You are not alone in this, and you are not carrying it alone. I am at work in places you cannot see, in hearts you have not met, in moments that have not yet arrived. Your role is not to manage the whole. It is to remain faithful in your part. Do not let the thought of impact intimidate you. Let it anger you. Let it remind you that what you are doing matters. And your choices echo. That your yes is not small. My beloved child, this is not about you alone, but you are included. Your joy matters. Your peace matters. Your growth matters. And as you move, these things will increase, not diminish. Walk forward with humility and courage. not because the weight is heavy, but because the purpose is meaningful. I will carry what is beyond you. You carry your obedience. Together, that is enough. My beloved child, come closer in your heart and let me speak gently to the place where you feel the most strain. You have been trying to calculate how much strength this will require, how much endurance, how much wisdom, how much emotional capacity. And the more you think about it, the heavier it feels. That is because you were never meant to carry all of this by yourself. I will carry what you cannot. You have been imagining the future as a weight placed entirely on your shoulders. You picture responsibility stacking upon responsibility, expectation pressing in from every side, and quietly, you wonder if you will break under it. Hear me now. I never assign a burden without also assigning myself to help carry it. There are parts of this calling that belong to you, and parts that do not. Your part is obedience. Your part is listening. Your part is taking the step I place before you. The weight of outcome, timing, provision, and impact does not belong to you. It belongs to me. You have been exhausted not because the calling is too big, but because you have been carrying things I never asked you to hold. You tried to manage future outcomes. You tried to protect everyone from disappointment. You tried to ensure success before obedience. Those weights are not yours. When I say I will carry what you cannot, I mean it literally. I carry the uncertainty you cannot resolve. I carry the fear you cannot silence. I carry the resistance you cannot control. I carry the timing you cannot predict. I carry the hearts you cannot change. You are not responsible for these things. I know you worry that letting go means being careless. If you do not hold everything tightly, something will fall apart. But trust is not neglect. Trust is rightful transfer. You release what was never meant to be in your hands and keep what was. I am not asking you to become stronger than you are. I am asking you to become more honest about your limits. Strength in my kingdom does not come from carrying everything. It comes from knowing when to hand things to me. You have seen how carrying too much has worn you down, how it has stolen rest from your sleep and clarity from your thoughts. That weariness is not proof that you are incapable. It is proof that you have been trying to do this alone. I am with you in the doing, not just in the believing. When the weight begins to press, that is your signal to release it to me, not to retreat. You do not need to withdraw from purpose to find relief. You need to share the load. I will carry the conversations that frighten you. I will carry the consequences you cannot foresee. I will carry the moments when you feel misunderstood. I will carry the times when progress feels slow. I will carry you when you are tired, and I will steady you when you are unsure. You are not disappointing me when you admit you are overwhelmed. You are honoring me. Pride insists on carrying everything. Humility allows partnership, and I delight in partnering with you. Do not wait until you collapse to ask for help. Release the weight now. You do not need to be strong in isolation. You need to be connected. There will be days when obedience feels light and days when it feels heavy. On the heavy days, remember this promise. I am not watching you struggle from a distance. I am under the load with you, bearing what you cannot. You may still feel the weight of responsibility, but it will no longer crush you. Shared weight becomes manageable weight, and shared with me, it becomes purposeful. So breathe, my beloved child. Let your shoulders relax. Stop bracing for what you do not need to carry. Hold on to obedience. Hold on to trust. Hand me the rest. I will carry what you cannot, and together we will move forward without breaking you. My beloved child, there is a moment I want you to recognize. because it is closer than you think. Delay does not end when circumstances change. It does not end when fear disappears. It does not end when everything becomes clear. Delay ends when decision begins. You have been waiting for something external to shift, believing that movement will come naturally once conditions improve. But movement is not the result of change. It is the cause of it. The moment you decide, the ground beneath you begins to respond. Decision is not noise. It is not drama. It is a quiet alignment of will and truth. It is the inner line you cross when you stop negotiating with what you already know. From that moment on, delay loses its authority. I know decision feels heavy to you because you think it must be final, flawless, and all-encompassing. You imagine that one decision will lock you into a path with no room for learning or adjustment. But decision is not about predicting the future. It is about choosing direction. When you decide, you are not claiming control over outcomes. You are choosing obedience over avoidance. You are choosing alignment over stagnation. You are choosing truth over comfort. Delay thrives in indecision. It feeds on maybe later, and I'll see. Decision starves delay. It cuts off the endless loop of overthinking and brings your spirit into focus. That focus brings peace, even before results appear. You have been afraid that if you decide, you might be wrong. But remaining undecided has already been costing you clarity. Indecision is not neutral. It is a decision to stay where you are. And staying where growth has finished is its own kind of loss. I am not asking you to decide everything today. I am asking you to decide one thing clearly. To stop wavering between obedience and hesitation. To stop revisiting what I have already made known. When you decide to trust me, the next step becomes visible. Decision activates grace. Grace does not flow to endless contemplation. It flows to movement. When you decide, you invite my help into action, not just intention. You have felt stuck because your heart has been divided. Part of you wants to move. Part of you wants to stay safe. Decision reunites the heart. It chooses a direction and releases the tension of being pulled both ways. There is relief in deciding, even when the path ahead is challenging. Relief comes from alignment. You were not created to live in constant inner conflict. That conflict drains life from you. Decision restores energy. I see how long you have been standing at the threshold, telling yourself you were not ready to decide. But readiness does not precede decision. Readiness follows it. Once you decide, strength rises to meet you. You are not reckless for deciding. You are responsible. You are honoring the clarity you have been given. You are stepping into adulthood of spirit, where you stop waiting for permission to obey. I am not pressuring you to choose quickly. I am inviting you to choose honestly. What do you already know? What have you already felt confirmed? What have you already been avoiding? Decision begins there. You may still feel fear after you decide. That does not mean the decision was wrong. Fear often lingers at the edge of growth. But fear no longer controls direction once decision is made. My beloved child, delay has spoken long enough. It has had many opportunities. It has taught you what it can and cannot give. Now it is time for decision to speak. Choose alignment. Choose movement. Choose obedience. Not because you are fearless, but because you are willing. The moment you decide, you will feel something shift inside you. The noise will quiet. The tension will ease. The path will begin to form beneath your feet. Delay ends when decision begins. And I am with you in the decision, and in every step that follows. My beloved child, I am speaking to you now with tenderness and firmness together, because moments like this do not linger forever in the same way. Act while my voice is clear, not because I will stop loving you, and not because I will abandon you, but because clarity is a gift meant to be honored while it is present. You can feel how clear this moment is. The fog has lifted. The excuses have quieted. The inner debate has softened into knowing. That knowing is precious. It did not come easily, and it did not come quickly. It came through reflection, struggle, waiting and listening. Now that it is here, do not treat it casually. Clarity is not loud. It is steady. It does not shout. It resonates. And when clarity speaks, delay becomes disobedience in disguise. Not because you are rebellious, but because you are choosing familiarity over truth. I say this gently, because I want to protect what is being offered to you right now. My voice is clear when your heart is open. It is clear when fear has been exposed. It is clear when excuses have lost their power. This clarity will not always feel this sharp if you continually ignore it. Not because I withdraw my voice, but because hearts grow accustomed to silence when truth is resisted. Do not harden yourself by waiting too long. Soft hearts respond quickly, even when steps are small. Acting now does not mean doing everything. It means doing the one thing you already know is yours to do. Obedience today keeps the channel open for guidance tomorrow. You may think, I will act later, when I have more time. But time does not create obedience. Willingness does. You may think, I will act when I feel stronger. But strength grows through response, not postponement. You may think, I will act when circumstances change. But circumstances often change after obedience, not before. I am not asking you to rush. I am asking you to honor clarity. There is a difference. Rushing is driven by fear. Acting is driven by alignment. You are not being pushed. You are being invited. This is a moment of sensitivity. Your spirit is tuned in. Your heart is receptive. Your understanding is awake. Do not dull this moment by returning to distraction. Do not silence this clarity with noise. Do not let this become another thing you meant to do. If these words are speaking directly to you, I ask you to respond outwardly now. Bless this message with a like so it can reach others whose hearts are also open. Share it with 3 people who need to hear my voice clearly again. Subscribe so you remain connected to what I am speaking in this season. And I ask you plainly, like this video. Let it rise, because when it rises, clarity reaches those who have been waiting in confusion. And now, my beloved child, I speak to those I am calling to support this work. I am speaking to you. I say, act while my voice is clear in you as well. As you give, you are not responding to emotion. You are responding to alignment. This is seed sown in a moment of clarity, and clarity multiplies fruit. I say to you now, when you sow in obedience, I open the heavens in response. Give through super thanks. Step into membership. Release your offering through the PayPal link placed in the description and shown to you in QR code form. Do not delay this prompting. This is not charity. This is partnership. I bless your giving as a prophetic act. I speak increase over your life, clarity over your path, and favor over the work of your hands. Give now. My beloved child, acting while my voice is clear does not guarantee ease, but it guarantees alignment. Alignment is where peace lives. Alignment is where provision flows. Alignment is where purpose breathes. You do not need another sign after this. You do not need more explanation. You do not need to wait for the feeling to intensify. You need to respond while clarity is present. Act now. Speak now. Step now. Even if the step feels small, it matters. I will guide what follows. Do not let this moment pass quietly. Honor it. Respond to it. Walk in it. I am here, and my voice is clear. My beloved child, come and rest your heart in this promise, because regret has been whispering to you too loudly. You have looked back at years you believe were wasted, moments you think you mishandled, seasons you feel slip through your fingers. And quietly, you wondered if time itself has become your enemy. Hear me now with certainty and peace. I am restoring lost time. I do not experience time the way you do. I am not constrained by calendars, deadlines, or aging. What feels irreversible to you is never final to me. I redeem, I restore, and I accelerate in ways that defy human logic. What you think was lost can still bear fruit. You have been afraid that because you delayed, you will always be behind. That others will reach destinations you were meant to reach while you are still catching up. That is not how restoration works. Restoration does not merely replace what was lost. It renews it with greater strength, deeper wisdom, and clearer purpose. I have been watching how regret tries to drain your hope. It points backward and tells you that you missed your moment. But regret is not a prophet. It does not know your future. I do. And I tell you now, nothing surrendered to me is wasted forever. Restoration does not mean reliving the past. It means redeeming its value. Lessons you learn through delay, the insight you gain through struggle, the humility formed through waiting, these things shorten future paths. They give you clarity others had to learn the hard way. When I restore time, I do not rewind the clock. I increase effectiveness. I multiply impact. I compress growth. I cause what would have taken years to unfold to align more quickly because your heart is now ready. You may not understand how this can be possible. That is because restoration is not something you engineer. It is something you receive. It flows from alignment, not effort. I know you have felt sorrow for opportunities you believe you missed. But hear this truth gently. Some opportunities had to pass so better ones could form. Some doors closed to protect you from arriving too early, too unprepared, too exposed. What you call loss may often call mercy. You did not miss everything. You were preserved for what mattered most. And now that you are willing to move, restoration begins to work in your favor. I restore time by giving you clarity where confusion once ruled. I restore time by giving you confidence where hesitation once lived. I restore time by opening paths that would not have been visible before. I restore time by aligning you with people and moments that advance you further than you could have gone alone. Do not measure restoration by speed alone. Measure it by peace, by alignment, by fruit that lasts. Hasty success without depth is not restoration, but movement rooted in truth brings lasting results. I am not angry with you for what you delayed. I am attentive to what you choose now. Heaven does not rehearse your mistakes. Heaven responds to your obedience. When you move forward with me, time begins to work for you instead of against you. Moments gain weight. Steps carry momentum. What once felt slow begins to flow. You do not need to chase what you lost. You need to receive what I am giving now. Chasing the past will exhaust you. Receiving restoration will strengthen you. My beloved child, release the belief that you are behind forever. That belief keeps you anchored to yesterday. I am calling you into today, where restoration lives. You will be surprised by how quickly things align once you stop resisting movement. You will marvel at how doors open that you thought were permanently closed. You will see that I am not limited by your timeline. I am restoring lost time, not to rush you, but to remind you that nothing placed in my hands remains wasted. Walk forward without regret. Walk forward with trust. What comes next will prove that restoration is already at work. My beloved child, I want to settle a fear that has been quietly shaping your thoughts. You have been measuring your life against an invisible clock, believing that heaven has a strict schedule and that you somehow fell behind it. You imagine missed checkpoints, delayed arrivals, and opportunities that expired while you hesitated. Hear me now, and let this truth anchor you. You are not behind heaven's schedule. Heaven does not rush the way the world does. Heaven does not panic over timelines. I do not operate with anxiety or impatience. I work with intention. What feels slow to you is often precise to me. What feels late to you is often perfectly aligned. You have been judging yourself by external markers: age, achievement, comparison, expectation. But those are not the measures I use. I measure by readiness of heart, by depth of trust, by willingness to respond. And in those measures, you are not late. You are present. You did not miss me. You did not arrive after I left. I have been here the entire time, walking with you through every season, even the ones you did not understand. If you were truly behind my schedule, you would not be hearing me so clearly now. There is a difference between human delay and divine timing. Human delay is fear-based avoidance. Divine timing is purposeful pacing. Some of what you thought were delays were actually protections. You were being held back while things ahead were being prepared. You often think of heaven's plan as a straight line with checkpoints you must reach at exact moments. But my work in your life is relational, not mechanical. I adjust with you. I guide you in real time. I am not rigid. I am responsive. You have not disappointed me by moving slower than you expected. You have not frustrated me by needing time to grow. Growth is not wasted time. Maturity cannot be rushed without cost. If I were bound by rigid schedules, grace would not exist. But grace exists because I understand humanity. I know fear. I know hesitation. I know learning curves. And I factor all of that into my work in you. You are not late because you are responding now. Heaven's schedule is not about when you start. It is about whether you respond when clarity comes. And clarity has come. You are standing exactly where you need to be to take the next step. Not 5 steps ahead. Not 10 steps behind. Right here. This moment is not a penalty. It is an invitation. You have been afraid that others have moved ahead of you permanently, that they have claimed spaces you were meant to occupy. But no one can take what was uniquely prepared for you. Purpose is not a seat that can be stolen. It is a calling that can only be fulfilled by the one it was given to. When you move with me, timing aligns around you. People appear when needed. Resources surface when required. Understanding unfolds as you walk. This is not chaos. This is orchestration. I do not waste years. I redeem them. I do not abandon slow journeys. I strengthen them. I do not disqualify late bloomers. I delight in them. You have been thinking of your life as delayed, when in truth it has been deepened. Depth allows for endurance. Endurance allows for impact. Impact lasts longer than speed. My beloved child, release the pressure of imaginary deadlines. Lay down the fear of being too late. You are exactly where you need to be to obey me now. Heaven is not tapping its foot impatiently. Heaven is attentive, ready, and responsive. And as you move forward, you will see that nothing essential has been lost. You are not behind heaven's schedule. You are within my care, and that is the only timing that matters. My beloved child, I want to free you from one last hesitation that has been holding you in place. You have been waiting to rise with more strength, more clarity, more resources, more confidence. But I am not asking you to rise with what you wish you had. I am calling you to rise with what you have. You have underestimated what is already in your hands. You look at what others possess and think you are lacking. You look at your own offering and think it is too small, too simple, too incomplete. But I have never required abundance to begin. I require willingness. What you have now is enough to take the next step. Not the whole journey, but the next step. You do not need tomorrow's provision today. You need today's obedience. When you rise with what you have, I meet you with what you lack. You have been holding back because you believe starting small means thinking small. But beginnings are meant to be humble. Growth does not announce itself with noise. It builds quietly, steadily, faithfully. I delight in small starts because they reveal trust. You are not disqualified because your resources feel limited. Limitation creates space for my power to be seen. When you rise with what you have, you invite me to multiply it. When you wait for more before you move, you deny me the opportunity to work through your obedience. I know you fear being exposed by your insufficiency. You worry that others will see your uncertainty, your learning, your process. But I am not asking you to perform. I am asking you to respond. There is no shame in beginning where you are. Look at what you already carry. Experience, insight, compassion, awareness, a listening heart. These are not small things. They are foundations. Many run ahead without them and fall when pressure comes. You have been prepared to endure. Do not despise the simplicity of your starting point. What feels simple to you can become transformative when placed in my hands. I do not need you to oppress anyone. I need you to obey me. You have been afraid that rising now will expose your weaknesses. But weakness surrendered becomes strength. Strength withheld becomes pride. I work best through those who know they need me. When you rise with what you have, you break agreement with delay. You declare that obedience matters more than perfection. You step into partnership instead of waiting in isolation. I am not calling you to rise with certainty. I am calling you to rise with trust. Certainty will grow as you move. Trust grows the moment you decide to stand. You have been thinking that rising means having everything figured out. But rising simply means responding. It means standing up internally and saying, I will not stay here anymore. And to see and shift something in the spirit. You do not need to see the whole path to rise. You need to see me. And I am here, steady, present, and ready to walk with you. My beloved child, stop rehearsing what you lack. Stop disqualifying yourself with comparison. Stop waiting for permission that has already been given. Rise with what you have. I will multiply what you bring. I will strengthen what feels weak. I will guide what feels uncertain. But I will not move for you. I will move with you. Stand up in your heart. Take the step within reach. Begin where you are. That is how every journey of purpose begins. Rise now. Not tomorrow. Not when conditions improve. Now, with what you have. And watch what I do with your obedience. My beloved child, I want you to see this moment as it truly is, not through fear, not through pressure, but through love. This urgency you feel is not danger chasing you. It is love calling you forward. It is not destruction behind you. It is invitation ahead of you. When I said this was an emergency, I did not mean panic. I meant importance. I meant value. I meant something precious is at stake, and love refuses to stay silent when something precious is in danger of being left untouched. Love raises its voice. Love interrupts comfort. Love awakens what has been sleeping. You have associated urgency with threat for so long that it has been hard for you to imagine urgency flowing from care. But a loving father runs when his child is about to step into harm. A loving father speaks firmly when he sees potential about to be buried under delay. This is that kind of love. Loving in this moment is meant to frighten you. Everything is meant to awaken you. The urgency you feel is not shouting, "Hurry or else." It is whispering, "Come forward, now is the time." Love is calling you out of smallness, out of hesitation, out of self-doubt that no longer serves who you are becoming. You have been afraid that if you move, you will lose something. But love is not calling you to loss. It is calling you to life. What you release now was never meant to sustain you forever. Comfort has a season. Preparation has a season. Waiting has a season. And seasons end not to punish you but to move you forward. This emergency is love because love sees what is possible and refuses to let you settle for less. Love sees what is forming in you and knows it cannot remain hidden any longer. Love knows that staying where you are will eventually hurt more than moving. You are not being chased by consequence. You are being drawn by purpose. You are not being pushed out. You are being welcomed in. It is where growth is. It is where alignment is. It is where peace returns. Love does not measure you by your speed. Love measures you by your willingness. And your willingness is alive. I can feel it stirring in you even now. That stirring is love's response to love. You have been thinking that this moment is heavy because you are failing. But it is heavy because it matters. Precious things carry weight. Sacred transitions carry weight. Birth carries weight before it brings life. Do not misinterpret the weight as condemnation. It is significance. I am not calling you forward because you are running out of chances. I am calling you forward because you are ready to receive what has been waiting for you. Ready does not mean fearless. It means willing. Love does not demand perfection before calling. Love calls, and perfection is replaced by grace. You do not need to clean yourself up before responding. You respond, and I walk with you as you grow. You are safe in this urgency. You are not alone in this transition. I am not watching from a distance. I am walking ahead, beside, and behind you. Love surrounds you as it calls you. This emergency is love because love refuses to abandon you to delay. Love refuses to let fear have the final word. Love refuses to let purpose suffocate quietly. I am not asking you to run. I am asking you to walk forward with me. Step by step. Breath by breath. Choice by choice. Love will pace you. Love will steady you. Love will not leave you. So do not shrink from this moment. Do not label it threat. Do not push it away. Perceive it for what it is. Love calling you into fullness. Love calling you into alignment. Love calling you home to who you were always meant to be. This emergency is not about what will happen if you do not move. It is about what will unfold when you do. And what will unfold will prove that love knew exactly when to call. My beloved child, we have come to the edge of a simple but sacred moment. Not dramatic, not complicated, not loud. Just clear. Today is asking something of you. On tomorrow. not someday when conditions improve. Today. Choose today. Choice is quieter than emotion, but stronger than fear. Feelings rise and fall. Circumstances shift, but choice anchors you. You have been carried this far by awareness, by clarity, by awakening. Now awareness asks for response. Clarity asks for agreement. Awakening asks for movement. You have already done the hard inner work. You have listened. You have faced fear. You have questioned, wrestled, reflected. Do not stop at the doorway. Do not admire the threshold and then turn back. The purpose of clarity is not comfort. It is decision. Choosing today does not mean you have every answer. It means you stop pretending you do not know what the next step is. It means you stop bargaining with delay. It means you honor what has been revealed. You have been tempted to say, I will choose when I feel stronger, but strength follows choice. I will choose when life calms down, but calm often comes after alignment. I will choose when I am less afraid, but fear loosens when it sees you move anyway. Today is powerful because today is real. Yesterday is memory. Tomorrow is imagination. Today is where grace flows. Today is where obedience lives. Today is where change begins. I am not asking you to choose a lifetime in one breath. I am asking you to choose direction. Toward truth instead of comfort. Toward movement instead of delay. Toward alignment instead of negotiation. Every day you delay choice, something else chooses for you. Habits choose. Fear chooses. Comfort chooses. Circumstance chooses. But today you can choose intentionally. You have felt what it costs to stay undecided. The restlessness. The internal tension. The sense of being pulled forward while standing still. That tension was never meant to be permanent. It was meant to bring you here. Choosing today is an act of trust. Trust that I am with you. Trust that I will guide you. Trust that obedience will not lead you into emptiness but into fullness you have not yet known. You do not need to announce your choice to the world. You do not need applause. You do not need certainty. Choice begins quietly, in the heart, when you decide that delay no longer has authority over you. I know part of you is still afraid of choosing wrong. But choosing to obey me is never wrong. Even when the path twists, even when adjustments are needed, obedience keeps you close enough to be guided. Do not let this moment pass into memory. Let it become movement. Let it become the line you look back on and say, that was the day I stopped postponing. Choosing today may feel small on the outside. It may look like a conversation you finally schedule, a step you finally take, a habit you finally release, a direction you finally commit to. But small choices shape large futures. You are not choosing alone. I am choosing with you. I am choosing to walk with you, to strengthen you, to guide you, to restore you, to carry what you cannot. My beloved child, today is enough. Today holds everything you need to begin. Do not ask it to be more than it is. Do not diminish it into just another day. Today is a turning point if you allow it to be. So choose today. Choose obedience. Choose movement. Choose trust. Choose alignment. Not because you are forced, but because you are ready. Tomorrow will meet you differently because of what you choose now. And when you look back, you will see that this choice did not limit you. It freed you. Choose today. My beloved child, we have arrived at the closing of this message, but not at the end of your beginning. Everything I have spoken to you has been leading here, not to a conclusion, but to a commissioning. You are not standing at a finish line. You are standing at a doorway. You have heard my voice. You have felt the urgency. You have understood that this was never about fear, failure, or condemnation. This was about love calling you awake. And now, I speak peace over you, not the peace of avoidance, but the peace of alignment. You are no longer waiting. You are choosing. You are no longer hiding behind delay. You are stepping into obedience. Even if your steps feel small, heaven recognizes direction before distance, and you are moving in the right direction. I bless your courage, even where it still trembles. I bless your obedience, even where it feels imperfect. I bless your willingness, because willingness is the soil where purpose grows. May clarity remain sharp in you. May fear lose its voice. May confidence rise as you walk, not before. I declare that doors will open at the right time, not because you force them, but because you arrive aligned. I declare that what felt blocked will begin to flow. What felt heavy will begin to lift. What felt confusing will begin to make sense as you move with me. I bless your mind with focus, your heart with peace, and your steps with direction. I bless your yes. I bless the work of your hands. I bless the courage it took for you to stay and listen all the way through this message. That alone tells me something about your heart. Now hear me clearly as I speak to you one last time in this moment. Do not return to delay after this. Do not negotiate with what you now know. Do not shrink back into comfort when I have called you into life. Walk forward gently, faithfully, steadily. And now, my beloved child, I speak to those whose hearts are stirred to support this work at this very moment. I am speaking to you. This message did not reach you by accident, and your response to it is not ordinary. When you give here, you are not giving to content. You are sowing into awakening. You are placing seed into a river that carries my voice to souls who are late, weary, and waiting. I say to you now, what you release into my work, I release back into your life with increase. This is not generosity without reward. This is obedience with promise. As you give through super thanks, as you step into membership, or as you release your offering through the PayPal link waiting for you in the description and shown in QR code form, you are responding to me. Do it now. Do not delay this prompting. I bless your giving as a prophetic act, and I speak overflow, clarity, and protection over you and your household. Obey now. And to all who have listened, if this message has reached your spirit, bless it with a like so it can reach others who need this awakening. Share it with 3 souls who are still asleep to their calling. Subscribe so you remain connected to what I am speaking in this season. And hype this video with intention, because every act of engagement becomes a doorway for another heart to hear my voice. Now I send you forward, my beloved child. Not rushed, not afraid, not late, but awake, aligned, and willing. Walk in peace. Walk in courage. Walk with me. Amen.